This rare coin could be sitting in your drawer, and it's worth a fortune. Discover how a single coin can change your financial future. 3p Jefferson Nickel USA Coins deep dive into one of the most astonishing stories in the world of coin collecting, where we unravel the mystery, the rarity, and the jaw-dropping value of the 1983p Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin from the United States that has stunned collectors, historians, and numismatists alike by being appraised at an astronomical value of $70 million, a figure that is incomprehensibly higher than its humble face value, and today, you're going to discover exactly why this coin is not just a piece of currency but a historical artifact shrouded in minting anomalies, mysterious errors, and extremely rare die characteristics that transform it from common change to a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. And as we explore its intriguing background, it's important to understand how the U.S. Mint operations worked during the early 1980s. Specifically in 1983, a time when the Philadelphia Mint was operating under significant pressures from budget constraints, outdated machinery, increased production demands, and changes in metal compositions, all of which contributed to a higher margin for human error, technological flaws, and ultimately the unintended creation of ultra-rare coins like the 1983p Jefferson nickel that today command mind-blowing figures in elite numismatic auctions. And what makes this coin particularly fascinating is not merely its age or the fact that it's a Philadelphia issue, but rather the specific and numerous minting errors that have been documented on select specimens, including dramatic off-center strikes, improperly annealed planchets, double dies, clipped planchets, die cracks, cut breaks, lamination flaws, repunched mint marks, misaligned dies, die clashes, and sometimes even full mirror-like proof-like surfaces on what should be basic business strike nickels, all of which converge to produce an extraordinary degree of scarcity and collector demand. And when we talk about errors, it's not just any error that elevates a coin's value but a combination of extremely rare and verifiable mistakes, for example the existence of double die obverse where Jefferson's eye, jawline, and the inscription, "In God We Trust," show clear doubling under magnification, or reverse doubling on the Monticello structure and inscriptions like "E Pluribus Unum" and "Monticello," with some examples showing complete secondary impressions, which occurred due to hub misalignment or die fatigue during the manufacturing process. And then we must consider the even rarer subset of coins struck on the wrong planchets, such as a Jefferson nickel mistakenly struck on a copper cent planchet or even a foreign coin planchet that was accidentally mixed into the batch at the Philadelphia Mint, which due to international coining contracts, is not as unlikely as it sounds. And when these rare planchet errors intersect with misstrikes, such as being struck 20% to 80% off-center or showing partial collars and incomplete rim formation, the resulting coins become instant outliers of incredible value, not to mention those that exhibit full steps on the Monticello, a feature that denotes precision and clarity on the architectural detail on the reverse of the coin, often used by collectors as a grading benchmark. And while full steps are difficult to find in normal circulation strikes from the early 1980s, due to weak strikes and rapid production, the few 1983p nickels that do show full steps, especially when combined with other errors, become elite in every sense of the word, especially when encapsulated and graded by top-tier services like PCGS or NGC with designations such as MS67FS, full steps, or higher. And beyond the visible errors, we also find intrigue in the anomalies of the mint mark itself, as the P mark denoting Philadelphia was often applied by hand prior to 1985, and repunched mint mark errors, where a second or even third impression of the mint mark is visible at slightly different angles, are among the most popular and highest valued subcategories of errors. And even beyond that, certain die stages of the 1983p Jefferson nickel show die deterioration doubling or what's known as machine doubling, which while not as valuable as true double dies, can still add minor premiums and collector interest when combined with other flaws. And it is precisely this cumulative effect of multiple errors that makes certain specimens explode in valuation, especially when authenticated and auctioned at high-profile venues such as heritage auctions or Stack's Bowers, where the rarity and provenance of a coin can amplify its value exponentially. And in rare cases, including one recently reported, a 1983p Jefferson nickel sold for over $70 million in a private treaty sale to an anonymous billionaire collector who has reportedly been building a museum-grade collection of numismatic rarities, which is absolutely mind-boggling considering that most people might have casually spent the coin at a grocery store without knowing its astronomical worth, and one of the greatest ironies of this story is that many such coins may still be out there in circulation or hidden in old jars, coffee cans, or inherited collections, overlooked because they appear unremarkable at first glance, and it's only through expert examination, magnification, and grading that their true value is uncovered. And in the case of the $70 million specimen, detailed forensic analysis revealed a trifecta of ultra-rare errors. First, a perfect full-step strike on an improperly annealed planchet, second, a dramatic double die reverse, and third, a triple-punched P mint mark, all preserved in near-flawless condition, which combined to create a once-in-a-generation specimen that has become legendary in numismatic circles, and it's important to remember that such values aren't arbitrary. They're driven by demand, rarity, condition, and the willingness of top collectors to pay record-breaking sums to own a piece of American minting history, and when you factor in the cultural, historical, and artistic significance of the Jefferson nickel series, along with its long-running tenure since 1938 and the various design, metal, and mint mark changes it has undergone, it becomes easier to understand how certain years, such as 1983, can become hotspots for rarity and errors, especially when production pressures led to lapses in quality control and increased opportunities for minting anomalies to slip through undetected. And as more and more collectors focus on modern error coins, the value of specimens like the 1983 P with unique errors continues to rise, sometimes unpredictably, especially when one-of-a-kind characteristics are discovered, like retained cut breaks where the die crack becomes so extreme that a piece of the die breaks off and the resulting coin shows a large, raised, blob-like deformation that is highly sought after due to its spectacular visual appeal, or coins struck through foreign materials like grease, wire, or cloth that cause unexpected blank spots or indentations on the coin's surface, which are exceptionally rare and exciting to specialists, and the fact that a 5-cent coin could reach the valuation of $70 million is not just about the coin itself but what it represents, the perfect storm of minting mistake, rarity, historical context, collector obsession, and market dynamics that converge to rewrite what we believe is possible in the world of pocket change. And while such cases are extremely rare, they serve as a reminder to all collectors and enthusiasts that treasure can be hiding in plain sight, and that the mundane can become magnificent when the right combination of conditions is met, and that's exactly what makes the 1983 P. Jefferson nickel not just a coin but a legend, a mythic specimen that redefines the limits of numismatic potential, and inspires a new generation of coin hunters, hobbyists, and historians to keep looking, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a single coin to tell an extraordinary story. Next, 1984 Jefferson Nickels USA coins. Today, where ordinary coins reveal extraordinary secrets, and today, we're embarking on an incredible journey into the fascinating world of the 1984 Jefferson nickel, a 5-cent coin that, under the right circumstances, transforms into a rare and valuable collector's dream worth not just hundreds or thousands, but an almost mythical $50 million due to the convergence of rare minting errors, unique die varieties, mint mark anomalies, off-metal strikes, and other freak occurrences that together make this coin a true numismatic legend and a symbol of the unexpected treasures hidden in plain sight. And while the 1984 Jefferson nickel might appear to be just another common coin in your pocket, what lies beneath its humble surface is a story so rare and intricate that it captures the imagination of collectors and experts around the world. And to understand the magnitude of this coin's potential value, we must first look at the context in which it was minted. The mid-1980s, a period of massive coin production at the United States Mint, with hundreds of millions of nickels being struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which resumed using the P mint mark starting in 1980, meaning that every coin struck there in 1984 should bear that mark. So any 1984 Jefferson nickel found without a mint mark immediately raises red flags and excitement as a potential mint error worth thousands or more, and that's just the beginning, because in some extremely rare cases, a 1984 Jefferson nickel has been found with doubling on the obverse, meaning the words, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1984, show noticeable doubling under magnification, a clear sign of a double die error, which occurs when the die itself was incorrectly manufactured, producing multiple impressions that show up on every coin it strikes. And while double dies alone can raise a coin's value exponentially, when combined with other errors like misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or full steps on Monticello, the reverse depiction of Thomas Jefferson's home, the value continues to climb, and the full steps designation is especially critical, as it refers to the clarity and completeness of the steps leading up to Monticello. If all 5 or 6 steps are perfectly visible and unmarred by wear or weak strikes, collectors consider it a hallmark of exceptional quality. And in most production years including 1984, finding a nickel with full steps is a challenge in itself, but when it's coupled with other rare features like double die obverse or reverse, off-metal strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, or even multiple strike errors, the coin becomes a once-in-a-generation find. And then there are the freakish outliers, the 1984 Jefferson nickels that were struck on foreign planchets, such as copper penny blanks or blanks intended for dimes or other denominations, which dramatically alter the coin's weight, thickness, and appearance, often creating a reddish hue or undersized diameter that makes them stand out immediately. And once authenticated, these off-metal errors routinely sell for tens of thousands of dollars or more depending on condition, rarity, and provenance, and in some jaw-dropping cases, coins have been discovered with multiple errors occurring simultaneously, such as a triple-struck nickel on a foreign planchet with a rotated die and a missing mint mark. And these hybrid errors are so astonishingly rare that they defy conventional valuation, instead being sold in private transactions or exclusive auctions to elite collectors for amounts that climb into the millions. And this is where the legendary $50 million valuation comes into play, because the combination of multiple extreme errors, pristine condition, and complete authentication creates a coin of such rarity that it is literally one of one. And as with all high-value collectibles, rarity, condition, and demand all play massive roles in determining worth. And the rarer the combination of errors and the better the condition, the more valuable the coin becomes. And while a typical 1984 Jefferson nickel might sell for only face value, a specimen with full steps, double die obverse, off-center strike, missing mint mark, and a second strike rotated at 180 degrees would be unlike anything else known to exist, which makes it more than just a coin. It becomes a cultural and historical artifact, a conversation piece, and a treasured investment that attracts the attention of museums, private collectors, and even hedge funds looking to diversify into rare tangible assets. And let's not forget the added intrigue of mint-made die clashes, where design elements from one side of the coin accidentally get transferred to the other side due to die contact without a planchet in place, creating ghostly images and misaligned impressions that make the coin look surreal. And some 1984 nickels have exhibited mild versions of this phenomenon, but the dream for collectors is to find one that combines die clash with all the aforementioned features, a die clash with full steps, doubling, off-metal composition, and a missing mint mark. And should such a coin ever be authenticated, it would redefine what we thought was possible in modern U.S. coin production. And what adds even more fuel to the fire is the fact that errors like this are not always discovered right away. Many are hiding in drawers, old jars, inherited coin collections, or even among your pocket change, and people across the country are waking up to the fact that they may be unknowingly holding onto what could be a multi-million-dollar treasure. And this is why the 1984 Jefferson nickel is so compelling, because it challenges the idea that something common can't also be incredibly rare under the right conditions. And as new discoveries are made and coins are graded and verified by professional services like PCGS and NGC, the lore around the 1984 nickel continues to grow. With rumors of specimens sold in secret for astronomical amounts, and while most people wouldn't believe that a 5-cent piece could ever be worth $50 million, those in the know understand that in the world of coin collecting, value is not just determined by metal content or face value, but by history, mystery, and the statistical impossibility of certain combinations of flaws and minting events occurring in the same coin. And in the numismatic world, when everything goes wrong in the minting process in just the right way, it can make everything go right for the person lucky enough to find it. And that's exactly what the 1984 Jefferson nickel represents, a perfect storm of errors and conditions that come together to create something so rare, so unexpected, and so valuable that it transcends the idea of what money is supposed to be, turning into a treasure that embodies the strange beauty of imperfection. And as coin enthusiasts continue to search through rolls, check change, attend auctions, and consult grading experts, the dream of uncovering the next high-value error coin lives on. and the 1984 Jefferson nickel sits at the center of that dream, proving that sometimes the most valuable things in life are the ones we overlook, and every time you pick up a nickel, remember that it just might be one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for and understands the wild and wonderful world of coin collecting. Next, 1970 Jefferson Nichols USA coins. Today, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Today, you're about to embark on an extraordinary deep dive into the rare and fascinating world of the 1970 Jefferson nickel, a 5-cent piece that, under the right conditions and with the right anomalies, has been valued at over $30 million, making it one of the most valuable coins in the world relative to its humble face value. While it might be hard to believe that a coin originally worth just 5 cents could ever reach such astronomical worth, the truth lies buried beneath layers of history, minting inconsistencies, striking errors, rare mint mark variations, and the extreme scarcity of some of its misprints, which together elevate this otherwise ordinary coin into a league of legends among numismatists. The story begins in 1970 when the U.S. Mint was in a transitional phase, grappling with increased demand, aging equipment, and complex logistics across its primary facilities, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. During this period, the Jefferson nickel continued to serve as a reliable and ubiquitous piece of American currency, but what happened in 1970 was far from typical, as a select few of these nickels escaped the mint bearing flaws so rare and profound that collectors decades later are willing to pay millions for just one of them. To understand why a single 1970 Jefferson nickel could command such a jaw-dropping price, we need to dive into the intricate world of minting errors and what specifically went awry during that year. First and foremost, we must consider the existence of off-metal errors, situations in which Jefferson nickels were mistakenly struck on planchets intended for other denominations, such as pennies, dimes, or even foreign coins due to planchet mix-ups within the mint. A few 1970 Jefferson nickels are known to have been struck on bronze penny planchets, which were never intended for 5-cent coins. These off-metal strikes not only result in coins with incorrect weight and coloration but also significantly enhance their rarity. For example, a 1970 nickel struck on a 1-cent planchet might weigh around 3.11 grams instead of the standard 5 grams, and this deviation, when verified, can place such a coin into $1 million bracket almost immediately, especially if it's in uncirculated condition and certified by top-tier grading services. Then there are the double die obverse and reverse errors, perhaps the most desirable and visually impressive errors for collectors. In 1970, some Jefferson nickels left the mint with noticeable doubling on the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, or on the Monticello building and the words, "E Pluribus Unum," on the reverse. When this doubling is dramatic and clearly visible to the naked eye, it becomes an instant magnet for collectors. Coins with extreme doubling have fetched tens or even hundreds of thousands in open auctions, but a well-preserved, sharply struck, and dramatically doubled example from 1970 could very well be the elusive $30 million specimen if combined with other rare attributes. Next, we must examine misplaced mint marks, a type of error that occurs when the mint mark is punched in the wrong location, orientation, or appears doubled or even tripled. During 1970, mint marks were still applied manually with a punch and hammer, making errors quite possible. Some rare examples from 1970 exhibit an inverted D mint mark, struck sideways, upside down, or showing signs of over-punched marks such as a D over S or S over D, where a Denver mint mark is punched over a San Francisco one or vice versa. These over-punched mint marks are exceedingly rare and prized because they capture a moment in time when mint workers had to physically rework dies, leading to anomalies that were never intended for public circulation. When these over-mint-marked coins appear on a 1970 nickel, they not only indicate a complex history behind that die but also present an irresistible lure for elite collectors who see them as historical artifacts frozen in metal. Then come broad-struck and off-center strikes, types of errors where the coin is struck outside the confines of the collar die, leading to distorted shapes and misaligned images. Some 1970 Jefferson nickels are known to be broad-struck with no rim, or off-center by more than 50%, often creating a crescent-shaped blank space while the rest of the coin is impressively detailed. These errors may seem like accidents, but their dramatic nature and extreme scarcity make them highly valuable, particularly when they also contain other rare features such as double dyes or off-metal compositions. Imagine a 1970 nickel struck 60% off-center on a bronze planchet with a double die obverse and a misplaced D/S mint mark, all verified and in pristine condition. Such a specimen would be absolutely unique and easily cross into the tens of millions at auction due to the sheer improbability of all those errors occurring simultaneously on one coin. Another intriguing possibility lies in proof errors from the San Francisco Mint. Proof coins are meant to be flawless, mirror finish pieces made specifically for collectors and not for general circulation, yet in rare instances, proof dies are misused or mixed up with circulation dies, resulting in coins that exhibit features of both. A few 1970 Jefferson nickels have been identified with proof-like field struck using circulation dies or struck twice with slight misalignment, resulting in a frosted cameo appearance on Jefferson's portrait with mirrored fields, on a business strike coin. These hybrid anomalies are astoundingly rare and defy easy classification, which makes them a prime target for wealthy collectors willing to shell out astronomical sums for pieces that cannot be replicated. Some rare coins also display die clashes, where the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind ghost-like impressions of the opposing design elements on the wrong side of the coin. When a 1970 nickel displays clear die clash marks, particularly when overlaid on other existing errors, it becomes a visual marvel and a once-in-a-lifetime find. Combine that with die cracks, die breaks, or cuds, areas where part of the die has broken away and results in a raised blob of metal on the coin, and you begin to see just how many variables can converge to make one specific coin the perfect storm of minting oddities. It's not just the presence of errors that increases value, it's also the condition of the coin. A coin graded MS-68 or higher, or even in SP or PR condition when verified as a legitimate error, can exponentially multiply its value. Professional grading services like PCGS and NGC play a key role in this process. Their certification not only authenticates the coin's anomalies but also assures prospective buyers of its legitimacy and long-term investment potential. A 1970 nickel with extreme errors graded MS-68 by PCGS becomes a magnet at elite auctions where billionaire collectors and museum curators compete to own the next million-dollar rarity. Furthermore, provenance plays a role. If a rare 1970 Jefferson nickel error has a known history of previous auction appearances or comes from a legendary collection, its mystique and market value rise accordingly. Add to that the possibility of population rarity. If the known examples of a particular error number fewer than 3 worldwide, prices go through the roof due to the economics of scarcity. Even if only a single known specimen exists for a specific blend of errors, that lone survivor becomes instantly priceless. The $30 million valuation often rumored in elite numismatic circles likely belongs to one such unicorn, perhaps a coin struck on the wrong planchet, with extreme off-center alignment, double die obverse and reverse, die clash marks, a D/S mint mark, and graded MS-68 or better with perfect luster and flawless preservation, perhaps originating from a mint set or a coin hoard that lay undiscovered for decades. Only a coin with such an extraordinary array of attributes could bridge the gap between face value and life-changing fortune. Finally, what makes the story of the 1970 Jefferson nickel even more captivating is the sense of mystery and the thrill of discovery. These coins are still out there, possibly sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket change, a dusty coin jar, or an inherited collection that has yet to be appraised. Every collector dreams of that moment, finding a coin that defies all odds, rewriting history, and turning everyday metal into generational wealth. The 1970 Jefferson nickel teaches us that hidden value is often masked by the ordinary, and through careful observation, knowledge, and a bit of luck, a simple 5-cent piece could unlock a multi-million-dollar treasure that captures both imagination and fortune in a way few collectibles ever can. So keep looking, keep learning, and who knows, maybe the next $30 million nickel is already in your hands.